Alright, hey everyone. So today I'm going to go over another DIY project with you guys. It's going to be dyeing the UCP camouflage of the old Army ACU, the digital pattern from our old US Army camouflage. SNS Training Solutions has made a really good video on this, and I decided to do it with a UCP, basically LBE system, harness system. With stitch-on pouches and everything, that system. I decided to do it with that, so I'm going to show you that here in a minute, the initial dyeing process. Real quick though, as another little quick tip, with flight gloves, the Nomex flight gloves that kind of come in that sage green color. I know they come in coyote brown now and tan and stuff, and I want a pair of those too, but with these, you just throw a little rattle can on there with that camo netting process, like what I did with the winter camouflage. And you'll kind of break it up a little bit and kind of add a little bit of variation to it. I've got some brown striping in there, and then kind of the camo net rattle can with some tan and some other stuff to kind of break it up a little bit and make it diffuse just a little bit more, so it doesn't stand out as much out in the field. So I'm going to cut over to showing you the UCP LBE harness that I have and the dyeing process, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we go. Here is the UCP, basically LBE harness system, kind of the modernized system that's got all the mag pouches, grenade pouches, utility to admin pouches, and all that stuff on it. And what I've done is I've thrown the RIT dark brown fabric dye on the in a tub, and I'd mix that with a little bit of vinegar per their instructions and hot water. Saturated it for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and it comes out into more of a brown and tan kind of situation over the sage green. Obviously the plastic buckles and everything are still going to be sage green, and you can rattle can those later, but it turns into something much more brown and muted, which I really like, and this is the actual color that you're seeing. It's still drying, obviously. I've got it drip drying right now, and then I have to do a cold rinse. But what you do with the instructions on the RIT coloring is the instructions are on the back side of it. Basically, for about I'd say this is probably a 5-6 gallon tub. Fill that with hot water, about a cup of vinegar, and then 1 to 2 of these, and then you soak and saturate this thing for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, kind of sloshing it around and stirring it around and stuff under the surface of the fluid. Excuse me, the dye in the fluid, and it looks like that color, very dark brown. But obviously this isn't going to take all of that color, but it does brown it out, and it mutes it quite nicely. This is much more resonant to what you're seeing in the Ukrainian style of the UCP. The digitalized camouflage is much more brown, much more effective. So we've got this drying right now. I've done the saturation, so I'm going to let it dry, do a cold rinse, and then at some point I'll probably go over it with some more rattle can and diffuse it even more with some more greens and browns and things like that to help break it up even more and help it to just mute and blend into the environment, the natural environment, even more. But this is what it looks like after the brown dye. Oh, the lighting went weird there. But that's what it looks like after the brown dyeing. A lot of that sage green aspect of it has pretty much disappeared, and it's much more just different shades of brown and tan now, which is nice. Compared to the actual sage color, you can tell there's an obvious difference now. So it looks much better. And thanks again for Cole and SNS Training Solutions guys for putting that video out and giving that tip. So I decided to try it with this LBE system, and it works pretty well. I am going to go back and rattle can it some more. I will show you that, what it looks like with some rattle can on it after it's done drying and I've rinsed it and I've dried it again and everything, and that'll probably be in a day or two. I'll do a follow-up video, but there you go. Very useful, very inexpensive. This dye is like $3 for a bottle of it or whatever, so very effective. So very pleased with that. There you go, guys. Follow-up video coming up on what it'll look like after it's dried and with some rattle can. Alright, out.